Greetings, Dr. Wolfula here to present a very important special audio presentation that your ears cannot dare unlisten to. Does that make sense? Oh, it doesn't matter. Listen to this.
Welcome to someone's favorite movie. We're coming to you from the Pod Shack outside beautiful Bay City, Michigan. My name is Randy, and with me is the man who was actually a sentient sea monkey flushed down the toilet at an early age and now has come back to sort out his grisly vengeance upon the world. This is Tomko. What's up, sir? How are you?
You forgot to mention that I'm genetically modified, though.
Well, it goes without saying.
Well, yeah, but still, feather in the cap nonetheless.
I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lessen your impact as a sentient sea monkey.
Well, just don't let it happen again, sir.
I won't. Jeez, forgive me. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're covering a gem called Alligator. It's about an alligator doing alligator things, as alligators are wont to do.
Yeah, but this alligator is doing shit that no earthly alligator is capable of. This is a special one.
I mean, they're all special in my heart. All of God's creations are, Tomko.
I guess you could say that.
I could say that, and I did say that. This was a movie written in 1980 by the great John Sayles, who would later go on to be nominated for 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Screenplay. Basically what he would do, he would write horror scripts and do rewrites on films in order to fund his own projects. So in addition to Alligator, he also wrote 1978's equally Jaws ripoff-esque movie, Piranha. He wrote Howling. It's hard for me to say Howling. It Howl.
Word, yeah.
Yes, Howl with ing. That's my kryptonite. Howling. I can't say it right. I sound like a doofus every time I try.
Oh, I giggle every time my wife tries to say "see an enemy."
Equally formidable for me is rural. I can't stand saying it.
Yeah, that is a bit of a. It's more of a mouthful than it should. Now that I'm thinking about it,
I want to watch Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in a movie doing nothing else other than tackling hard words to say, and see if he remains cool while doing so.
Oh, especially if you could have Vin Diesel off just on the other side of the camera giggling every time he flubs a line.
Yeah, that's a Hollywood passion project I want to see.
Yeah, he just has to keep working on those big budget blockbusters so he can finally work on the movies that he's really passionate about.
Sure. I mean, we all got passion projects, right? John Sayles also wrote one of the first drafts of Night Skies, which eventually became the movie known as E.T. Have you heard of Night Skies?
I have never heard of Night Skies.
Originally, Night Skies was going to be a movie in which several aliens came down to Earth and feasted on livestock and killed people with their glowing fingers.
Oh, God damn it. Now I want to see that version of E.T. in the Galactic Senate.
Yeah, but eventually it became E.T. And later on there was talks about an E.T. sequel that would feature such carnivorous aliens, bloodthirsty lots. So we missed out on a chance to see.
Shit, we got gypped. Fucking Spielberg.
We got gypped on watching an E.T. alien mow down on a Drew Barrymore. So,
Oh, man.
Missed opportunities. I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, Tomko, so I'm about to school you.
Oh.
There was a movie in the 1970s. It was called Jaws, and I don't know if you're aware, but it was a big deal when it came out.
Yeah, it's a quaint little movie that I've heard about in passing.
It was directed by some bum named Spielberg. I mean,
who obviously can't recognize a good script when it's given to him, hence the lack of carnivorous ETs.
Yeah, fucking with night skies gives us ET instead. Blech. Could have had a cult classic. Instead, we have a family-friendly film. Get out of here. Get out of here. Have you ever seen Jaws, Tomko?
I've seen the trailer.
Okay. Are you aware of the basic premise of the movie there?
Isn't that the bad guy from one of those Roger Moore James Bond movies?
Absolutely. He's got a steel jaw.
Metal teeth, yeah.
Yeah, and it's real weird because he chews on like pipes and stuff to show how fearsome he is.
He is serious.
But I'm like, you know what? If I had steel jaws and I could bite into pipes, I still would not, because I would probably cut my lips, or not my lips, I'm sorry, my tongue all to hell.
Well, not to mention, a procedure like that had to cost a pretty penny, and here you are damaging all that fine craftsmanship just to cut through a pipe. Get a wrench, a fucking torch like everybody else, Jaws.
Yeah, I have a fear of like choking on things too, so I can't imagine getting a shard of pipe.
Did I trigger you?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, well, shit. I'm sorry, sir.
No, I'm just traumatized now. But I can't imagine like getting a shard of pipe stuck in my throat as its jaws is chewing through one,
Well, I'd imagine, it's kind of like Munster cheese. It's an acquired taste.
It might be. You're right. Also, what kind of... How intimidating is that? Like, okay, you can chew through that pipe. What's that do for me? What, are you going to gnaw on my arm?
I was going to say, all you got to do is stay away from his mouth.
Yeah.
If only James Bond had a way to attack Jaws from a distance.
Yeah. I mean, is that jaw going to prevent a gun bullet from going through your skull there? I doubt it.
Badass if it did.
Yeah, that's true. I'm glad I had to specify gun bullet as opposed to other bullets.
I'm just glad that we had like a 3-minute conversation off of like one of the dumbest characters in any James Bond movie ever.
It's pretty dumb. He was also in did you ever see the cartoon James Bond Jr., which was an equally dumb idea?
No, I had aged out of cartoons by that point, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah, he was one of the main bad guys in James Bond Jr. That's how I initially knew there was a Jaws. And then imagine my surprise when I grew up and I realized that it was an actual character. I'm like, what the shit? Are you serious? Wow. Well, Jaws was a big deal, and the success of Jaws made a lot of people want to replicate that success because, everything's once something makes some dough in Hollywood, people want to copy that.
Now, what year did the original Jaws come out? Was it 76 or 75?
I want to say 75, but I'm going to Wikipedia it real quick.
Well, the reason why I ask is,
75 it came out.
Okay, trends move a lot quicker today than they did back in the late 70s, early 80s, but still 5 years is a long time to keep ripping off the same movie, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Friday the 13th came out, and a decade later, people are still trying to rip it off.
Yeah, but they had good sequels for the Friday the 13th franchise. You can't say the same about Jaws.
Sure, but I was referring to like other movies trying to.
Well, yeah, they're seeing. I'm saying that they're seeing the success that Paramount was having with these cheap knockoff sequels, so that's what they're emulating. They're trying to get their own franchises up and running. I can wrap my head around that. I can't wrap my head around a ripoff of Jaws this late in the game.
Yeah, I guess I see your point. But that's what Hollywood does. It moves in waves. I remember in the early 90s, all of a sudden there was all these movies about 70s sitcoms, 60s and 70s sitcoms. We had live action Flintstones. We had the Brady Bunch movie. We had, for some reason, the Beverly Hillbillies. Like, stop.
I'm still holding out hope for a live action Welcome Back Carter with John Travolta playing Carter.
Okay, I would watch that probably.
I would watch the hell out of that now that I'm thinking about it.
That would be so ironic.
Huh.
In 1976, we had a movie Grizzly. 1978, we had Piranha. 1980, we have Alligator. Plus, there was Orca, the killer whale, and all sorts of other ones spread in between there. And
I will give this movie credit. It is what it says.
it is about an alligator. This is true.
But no, I mean, the weird thing about this movie is that it's actually not made by a bunch of incompetent people.
No.
I mean, Robert Forster is actually a really super underrated actor.
Absolutely.
They even got a dude from the Godfather movies to play the captain.
Yeah. Yeah, the captain. I love that character because he's always like,
he's nothing but bad attitude and eyebrows.
He's all about those eyebrows. And I could barely understand anything he said. So when I did my impression there, that's basically what he sounds like. You know?
Sounds kind of like Roscoe from the Dukes of Hazzard having a stroke. I don't know anything about it.
Oh, man. That's not what I was going for, Tomko. Damn it.
I didn't say I didn't like it, sir.
Okay, great. One of the hallmarks of that Jaws movie is that you didn't see that shark a whole lot. You saw like a shark POV. You had some intense music here and there. A lot of quick edits, all to build suspense and also save money until the time when it was time to fully see the shark. And I think,
and I'm still trying to figure out how they did this. Did they have like miniature sets that they had like a little tiny alligator run through?
Yeah, they had a real life alligator. They built a robotic alligator that they puppeteered.
Well, they tried.
Yeah. Most of the effects in this movie are pretty good, except for one memorable scene about 3/4 of the way through when the giant fucking alligator breaks through the cement and the whole street shakes and the whole city shakes as if racked with an earthquake, and the gator rises up from the sewer.
And not to sound mean to this movie, but I've seen more convincing miniatures built out of Lego sets than that sidewalk that the alligator popped through.
That was kind of the weakest part of the movie for me. It was
the other shots that I noticed, especially at the beginning when they were trying to hide the alligator, you see it moving, but you could tell that they just have a stuffed alligator strapped to a dolly that they're rolling on the ground.
Right.
That, and I don't know how many times they showed people being eaten by the alligator.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they're just scooching on down the hole themselves.
Sure.
This is a weird movie. It seemed like it wanted to be dumb, but it was too smart for its own good.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I don't know. This was just a weird movie.
It's so the movie plays off the fact of the old urban legend of an alligator in the sewer, which kind of happened in New York. There's actually an alligator in the sewer day around February 9th that New York celebrates. Believe it or not. An article from the New York Times investigated this whole thing and the urban legend of alligators in the sewers. And it said by the 1930s, advertisements for purchasing baby gators by mail were common in magazines. Once the cute pets got too big, the theory goes they would often wind up in the sewer after being flushed down a toilet or dumped in the street drain. The seminal New York sewer gator event came on February 9th, 1935, when some East Harlem teens spied an alligator down a storm drain and then lassoed and hauled it up with a clothesline.
Oh, my God.
After the reptile, roughly 8 feet long and 125 pounds, snapped at them, they killed it with their shovels.
Those kids are badass.
For real.
I'm afraid of, like bats and rodents when I was in that age, and they're lassoing alligators.
Yeah. Alligator found in uptown sewer, read the headline in the Times. The article speculated that it had escaped from a passing steamer in the East River and had swum into a sewer outflow pipe. And so, of course, after that, everyone sees an alligator in the sewer. The article also says that hundreds of alligators are rescued every year from the city, from improper habitats, both inside and outside homes, just from careless people that buy them as pets and then don't know what the fuck to do with them.
I ship them down to Florida.
That's where they belong. You don't need an alligator as a pet. What are you, a drug lord? Get out of here.
So, my biggest problem with this movie is that with a premise like this, I think I was expecting it to be over the top and campy. Instead, they actually tried to make a serious movie, but they just didn't have any interesting characters to latch on to.
Oh, you think so? I like the Robert Forster character, actually.
Yeah, but he was just kind of like a generic 80s cop movie lead.
His performance in this movie was a lot more than I expected of a movie from a movie of this caliber.
He was definitely the highlight of this movie. I'm just saying that with his abilities in this script, he was punching down.
Yeah, I could see that. He plays it with a sense of humor. All those lines. So in the movie, he's constantly getting shit about his hairline. Mm-hmm. And apparently all those lines were stuff that he pitched and wrote himself in order to inject a little bit of humor and levity into the script.
Which, let's face it, it needed more laughs.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't need to take itself so seriously. So the basic premise is this movie opens with a girl flushing a gator down the toilet. It's kind of implied that it's the scientist girl love interest gator that was flushed.
Yep, I definitely had the impression that the antagonist of this movie was the same Ramon.
Yeah.
That it wasn't the scientist. It was the scientist's father.
Yes, that flushed it.
Yes.
Yeah. And the gator ends up in the sewer and starts snacking on whatever it can find. Eventually it finds a whole corpse buffet of dogs and discarded pets and stray animals that have been picked up and experimented on. And they're trying to, it's kind of unclear what the laboratory is trying to do, but basically they're infecting these dogs and other animals with some sort of growth hormone. And the alligator's snacking down on these things and getting bigger and bigger because of it.
Yeah, I thought that they were trying to make animals larger than they would be in nature in order to increase the food supply for starving countries.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense, maybe. I don't know.
You know what? For the logic of this movie, it makes total sense.
Well, I mean, science and studies have shown that messing with food in the 80s actually may have caused people to grow taller and larger.
Badass.
Yeah, so this movie was ahead of its time. It knew
that short people everywhere needed spouses who could reach the top of the shelf.
I mean, we have to evolve. That's Darwinism. How are you going to reach that top shelf?
When you're too lazy to get the step stool yourself, call over your roommate.
Robert Forster stars as David Madison, who, of course, is the stereotypical cop with a past. He lost his partner in the famous or infamous Hotel Baldwin incident. His partner was shot, but he's about to find redemption through tangling with an alligator.
Which, I don't know, this movie just, I can sit down and watch a good movie, obviously. I can sit and laugh at a bad movie. This, again, it made the cardinal sin of being kind of boring.
Oh, you think so?
I do.
Oh man, I like this one.
Because I keep maybe I just went into it expecting the wrong thing. I was expecting schlock,
Yeah.
but they actually tried and failed miserably at making a decent movie. In my opinion,
Okay.
I just, to me, it just kind of sat there, and it didn't help that 90% of the movie was in a dimly lit sewer.
That's true. Of course, midway through the movie, alligator sightings. Well, a man's hand is found along with a half-eaten dog. So an investigation is underway, and David draws the short straw. Nobody wants to help him because he's got a rep for getting his partners killed.
Yeah, I can understand people being a little gun shy to sit shotgun with him.
Yeah, so a headstrong kid named Kelly joins up with him to travel the sewers, and God damn it, he loses another partner.
It happens.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I can see your point about how it tries to take itself so seriously. But also,
Well, I mean, especially when you read the description, it says a alligator that was flushed down a toilet is eating genetically modified rats and doubling in size. You're not expecting any kind of competency behind the camera.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so they're asking you to take this just stupid premise ultra seriously. And to me, it just didn't mix well.
So you were expecting something more along the lines of like Cruel Jaws, maybe?
I was expecting a bigger budget Cruel Jaws. Yes, sir.
Okay. That makes sense. There are some weirdness in this movie. The city hires a big game hunter named Colonel Robert Brock, who is a complete weirdo creep who talks about romantic alligators and makes weird alligator noises.
He's basically this movie's Quint.
Yes, but a lot weirder and creepier, and gets all excited about spotting alligator spore, big old alligator poo in the middle of the alleyway, which makes me think that Steven Spielberg saw this movie and got the idea for that giant lump of turds, dinosaur turds for Jurassic Park.
You know what? Turnabout's fair play, motherfuckers. If you're going to rip me off, I'm going to take this.
Yep. He took it, too. He took it. There is a pretty gnarly scene, though, that stuck with me. Near the end of the movie, the alligator's on a rampage because that's what alligators do. They rampage. And there's a scene where these boys are dressed up as pirates and they make their friend walk the plank.
Just imagine how messed up those kids are now.
That's what I'm thinking. So they make their friend walk the plank. Of course, they're in their backyard in the family pool, and the plank is actually the diving board of their pool. And they tell their friend that they're going to make him walk the plank, and the sharks are going to rip him to pieces. So they push him into the pool, but the fucking alligator's there, and he gets all eaten up.
You know what? Considering those bully kids were just spitting balling off the top of their head, they were remarkably accurate.
They really were. But man, those therapy bills must be something, huh? They probably got them a nasty habit or two.
Yep, I see a lot of self-medication in their future.
I think so. I do think so. I guess Roger Ebert was kind of on your side on this one, Tomko. He said, to sum up his review of this movie, he said, "Meanwhile, I suggest a plan. Why not try flushing this movie down the toilet to see if it also grows into something big and fearsome?" He had a way with words, that Ebert.
Yes, he did. Because, I mean, let's face it, this premise has a lot of possibility. I mean, I'm normally not one who advocates remakes, but this is dying to be remade by sci-fi.
Sure. Well, I think you can see the roots of alligator in movies like Lake Placid.
Mm-hmm.
There was the movie Crawl, which takes place during a hurricane in Florida in a crawl space. like alligators on the hunt. They all owe something to this, I think. Because some movies got to be the first alligator movie, right?
You know what? Are you saying that this movie is a trailblazing piece of cinematic history, sir?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But we'll go for it. Yeah. But
I'm a little bit shocked that you're so down on this movie. See, this is where what I say what I mean when I say I can't predict a Tomko. He's a very, very unpredictable man.
Especially because I went into this movie just expecting to have a good time, to laugh, and I don't know. It just didn't scratch that particular itch.
Maybe you were just cranky at the time.
It's possible.
Yeah. Uncredited on the movie was Kane Hodder, who played Ramon the alligator.
No shit. That's awesome.
Yeah. Also, a man by the name of Bryan Cranston worked on the crew for this movie in special effects.
I didn't even know that he did any stuff like that. That's actually really cool.
He was looking for any sort of job in Hollywood. Shout Factory had an interview with him for the release of Alligator on Blu-ray, and he agreed to sit down and do a short little interview. And apparently he was tired of working as like an extra or a man with one line in whatever movie would have him. So he kind of wanted to branch off and develop more skills in the industry. So he worked as a special effects assistant, basically because they just needed an extra man on deck. And he volunteered. He was the first person to volunteer, and they said, okay. So he was actually in charge of helping to make and rig up the alligator guts for the end of the movie where the alligator blows up.
Now, my big question is, Robert Forster had a small but pretty memorable role in Breaking Bad. I'm wondering if the two of them ever swapped stories about this movie.
I know, right? That was actually Robert Forster's final role was the character of Ed Galbraith. He played the character last season 5 of Better Call Saul, which was, of course, the prequel to Breaking Bad. Kind of ironic that they were both in Breaking Bad together. And I thought the same thing. I'm like, I wonder if Bryan Cranston was ever like, hey, I was on the movie Alligator with you. Do you remember me? Probably not. It would have been great to know they got together and had a laugh about it.
That would have been really cool to have seen, yeah. Now, was this... I'm assuming that this movie had to have made some kind of money if they had a sequel, but did it make any kind of an impact outside of, like, the cult film community?
They had a budget of $1,750,000 and made about $6,500,000. So it made money, but not much. The sequel was, of course, Alligator 2: The Mutation, which was direct to video in 1991, which 11 years later, come on.
Damn, really?
Yeah. It has no connection to the first movie whatsoever. Even though at the end of this movie, we see a small baby alligator in the sewer along with ominous music, but it's unrelated completely.
It's a missed opportunity.
Quentin Tarantino said that Robert Forster's character in this movie inspired the character of Max Cherry in 1997's Jackie Brown, which Forster also played.
I don't know why, but I had a feeling that Tarantino was going to be a fan of this movie.
Oh, it seems right up his alley, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it absolutely does.
Have you ever seen Piranha?
No, I never have, actually.
Yeah, I haven't either. I've actually seen the remakes. Well, one of the remakes that came out in the late 2010, perhaps. I don't know. But never the original.
Didn't they just jump straight to Piranha 3D during that run?
Yeah. Yep. And then Piranha Double D was the sequel. Because we like to say stay classy.
So, I'm trying to think of what else I can say about this movie. I did get a kick out of the escape scene when the alligator bursts out of the sewers and you got a kid dressed like Freddy Krueger playing stickball in the street. Did you notice that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, one of the ball players that is getting chastised by the cops for blocking the road has a red and green long sleeve striped shirt on.
Oh.
Looks exactly like Freddy Krueger.
Huh. That's interesting. I wonder who. I don't know. I wonder what the connection was. Why that was a thing.
Oh, and you know what? That scene, I have to admit, did give me one of my few. I don't want to say belly laughs, but at least a hearty chuckle with the cop that was avoiding the kid in the street, swerved, hit another car, and just exploded.
Yes.
Survived the explosion, crawls out the window, and lets himself get eaten.
Yeah.
When he had at least one gun. You know that.
I loved it in the 80s when everything had to explode. Even the smallest impact. I was always afraid of car accidents when I was a kid because I was sure my car was just going to blow up in a ball of flames.
Well, I would say that you were grown up in the age of the Pinto, but you're a little young for that.
I am a youthful sort, Tomko. I don't know what this Pinto is you speak of.
It was notorious for exploding on impact.
Before my time.
Now, speaking of explosions, how much property damage and like collateral damage do you think Robert Forster's character caused by blowing up the alligator right in like what appeared to be a suburban neighborhood?
He's about as reckless as Riggs is in Lethal Weapon.
He's unleashing fireballs in this quaint little neighborhood.
Yeah. Hopefully that didn't go up through the sewers and up some toilets.
Oh, God.
I mean, people were probably without water for weeks. Man, what a stink that would cause.
Someone got their car destroyed.
Yeah, someone got their car destroyed. Is insurance going to take care of that?
Well, plus, I mean, they're showing those manhole covers go up in the air. They have to come down somewhere. You know, someone got hurt.
Pretty careless.
Way to go, Robert Forster.
Yeah, you're killing more people than the alligator did. But at least you got him, right? That's all that matters, right?
Well, thank God he did it after the rampage at the wedding.
Well, yeah.
That was the highlight of the movie, where for whatever reason the alligator knew to target that specific wedding, and he had to also take out the Uncle Junior looking guy.
Yes. Well, he was almost like he had a vendetta because he knew who the head of the laboratory was. And that's where it cracks me up about Jaws 4: The Revenge. It's like this shark has a vendetta against the family of the man who killed his parents or whatever. And, travels all the way to, where is it, Cuba or Costa Rica or something, follows the family all the way there. And then
to think Michael Caine skipped the Oscars where he won for Hannah and Her Sisters so he could complete that movie.
I had a theory when I was watching that movie that Michael Caine was actually the shark, because for the longest time you didn't see the two of them in the same scene together. I'm like, Michael Caine is actually a wereshark. Whenever he hits water, he turns into a shark.
God damn it. You did the impossible and made me want to watch Jaws: The Revenge again.
That's my theory. It holds up until like almost the very end. They're finally in the same scene together.
Are we sure it's the same shark?
Could not be. Could be two different sharks. We don't know.
So what else is there to say about Alligator, sir?
Well, I liked it, and I think people should watch it. You didn't like it.
Again, maybe if I went into it with the right mindset, but how could I not go in with thinking it's going to be like Andy Warhol meets Tim Burton? or some just over the top campy schlock fest.
Oh man, I'd love to watch a Tim Burton Animal Attacks movie.
Oh God, that would be pretty awesome.
I would say that'd be really cool.
Instead, he's making just remakes of, Willy Wonka, where he's attacking children with chocolate. No, attack them with animals. Damn it.
Yeah, where's your edge, Tim Burton?
Oh, speaking of Andy Warhol, I saw that Shudder has Flesh for Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but it is a notoriously trashy movie.
Oh, good. Well, let's do that one next time.
I think we should.
Okay. That's funny you say that. I was going to ask you if you have ever seen an Andy Warhol inspired movie, but that answers it for me.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see this, but I have a feeling I'm gonna have to wait for the wife to go to bed on that one too.
Probably. I'm very fascinated by Andy Warhol lately, and I couldn't tell you why. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I think we know what our next episode is going to be, sir.
All right, sounds good. Tell people, Tomko, where they can find you on the World Wide Web.
Technically, you could still reach out to me on Twitter at The Drunken Dork, or at Facebook at a little group called Jake and Tom Conquer the Group. But I'm not really on social media much these days.
I mean, I haven't been either. I've been really bad as a podcaster. It's
getting kind of ugly out there, folks.
I keep,
just in general.
Yeah, I keep saying that I'm going to, because if for nothing else than to, promote the stuff that I do and put time into, I should be, but it's like, I don't want to.
Can't we get Tommy to do this for us?
Yeah, right. I should hire Tommy to do things. Yeah, right. You can find me on Twitter at mretailslave, or I think someone's favorite fave movie pie. I don't know what the show Twitter is. Don't bother. Hit me up at mretailslave. Yeah. And you can always email us at someone's favorite movie podcast at gmail.com. If you have a movie suggestion, or tell us how completely wrong Tomko is about this movie, you can.
You know what? I would be happy to hear dissenting opinions.
Yeah. I would love to have a whole mailbag episode of something of people asking questions.
The whole episode is Tomko's wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love that. And I would agree with each one of them. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And yes, he is.
Yeah.
So I guess we're doing Flesh for Frankenstein next time. It's going to be a real trashy treat, I bet.
In the meantime, I'm trying to figure out how much we have to pay Tommy in order to get him to do our social media management. What do you think?
He can't
2
even.
sloppy joes or 3?
Probably 4. He's a hungry boy.
Yeah, he does drive a hard bargain.
Yeah. Well, until we manage to cook up enough sloppy joes to feed an entire Tommy Thompson.
See you next time, folks.
On someone's favorite movie. Bye-bye.
Bye.